Hi, everyone. My name is Susan Patterson. I'm the host for this YouTube channel, Winning the Fight Against Human Trafficking and Child Exploitation. In this video, we will hear from Pamela Bryant regarding how drop-in centers work to rescue victims of human trafficking. Many people ask, why don't the victims just leave? They don't because they don't know where they would go or how they would survive. These drop-in centers are located in high traffic areas where street prostitution occurs. What these centers do is educate the women on the steps they need to take to get out of the life of prostitution. You can find more videos on what you can do to fight human trafficking at our channel, and the link for that is in the video description below. Please do support our mission to educate the community on what they can do to fight human trafficking by subscribing to this channel and liking this video. Now let's join Pamela.
Welcome, everyone. I am so pleased to have Pamela Bryant here today. For me, she's one of the true heroines in the fight against human trafficking, and she's going to share with us how a drop-in center works. So, Pamela, welcome.
Thank you for inviting me so that I would be able to give people an idea of what we do and why we do it to help young girls on the street.
Very good. And what brought you to working with victims of human trafficking?
The way I got involved was that a young lady at my church had an encounter with the young ladies as she would go home from work. She lived off of Long Beach Boulevard, which is a main track in Compton. And she would encounter them and they would talk to her, or she would talk to them, and they would tell her their problems or what was going on with them. So she approached me and asked me about it. And I told her I really didn't know, but I had heard that there were going to be some things going on in Compton to help the young ladies and to find out why they were out there like they were. So basically, that's how I got started. I was supposed to take the information back to her, but I wound up staying there and working in the ministry.
Very good. I love hearing how God works in people's lives and brings them to this issue. So why don't you share with us how a drop-in center works?
Okay, a drop-in center all drop-in centers are different because one thing, it depends on the size of the drop-in center, the plans of how they want to run it, the staff they have and all like that. Our particular drop-in center is a small drop-in center. So we had to decide what kind of services we were going to offer. And one thing we decided was, because we knew the young ladies go up and down the street all the time, we felt like we wanted to make it like homey, where they would feel comfortable coming in and resting, offering them snacks and showers if they needed showers, change of clothes, and just the time just to breathe. So that's how we pretty much started. And we had a GED program that we could offer them if they wanted to try to do it. And so we did that for a while, and we also did street outreach. So yeah, it all depends on how you want to organize it.
Very good. So one thing I just wanted to share with the audience is that many churches are starting to offer hospitality centers where they offer refreshments, and the women can come and get off their feet, or make a phone call to their mother because the pimp controls their phone. And then they'll partner with a nonprofit like you for the diversion services and the other things that you talked about. And then there are churches that are partner with a nonprofit like you, where the nonprofit staffs it, so it truly becomes a drop-in center, where it's offering, that nonprofit's offering many services similar to what you're offering. So why don't you mentioned diversion. Why don't you explain to us what diversion means?
Okay, so the diversion program is a program that once a girl gets picked up, this was the plan, is that once the girl gets picked up, instead of putting her in jail, they would offer her a chance to come and work the program, which the program was consisted of a lot of different subjects that would help to enlighten her on how to change her life. The courts would decide how many classes they wanted them to have. Most of the time, the classes were either conducted by a survivor that was on our board or volunteers that we had that came in to volunteer at the center.
Very good. And yeah, I just want to mention we're in California, and up until about, I think about 3-4 years ago, we did sometimes give prostituted people jail time, but now we only give them a ticket and give them a choice between the ticket or attending a diversion program. And the pimp just pays the ticket. So but what we're doing, as you know, hopefully, ideally, where they were bringing in nonprofits like you to talk to these women, to encourage them to choose diversion programs.
Yes.
Have you ever been invited to do that, to come in after the women have been picked up in a sweep?
Yes. Now we also was involved in sweeps. When they would conduct a sweep, they would call us ahead of time, let us know when it was going to be and the location, and they would give us an opportunity to speak to the young lady before they would process them.
Perfect. You know, and that, you know, we're all loving that over jail time for sure, like that. And just to clarify for our audience, what a sweep is when everyone gets picked up, the prostituted people, the buyers, if the pimps are there, and all of them, and then they separate them for, you know, the prostituted people would talk to someone like you to be encouraged to attend a diversion program or take advantage of your other services. So definitely we're moving a step forward. It's not perfect, but we're taking more of a victim-centered approach, which is good. So how many victims has your center helped?
I would say over a period of time, it's been about 350.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Yeah. I mean, you know, we've either touched their life in one way or another. Some of them we have actually been able to change their lives, but you know, it's an ongoing battle, and
yes,
just meet them where they are.
Yes, I've heard that trying to help former victims of human trafficking is one of the most difficult jobs there is. Even
Yes,
harder, I've heard from therapists, than working with someone who's been drug addicted in many ways, because they're so traumatized.
Yes, right.
Yes. So what award did its Restoration Diversion Services win, and why did you win that award?
Well, in 2017, we did win the nonprofit of the year, but we also won an award for community AT&T Women Community Services in 2020. The Los Angeles County we're building champions, and we also are a part of the National Human Trafficking training classes too, certified classes.
Good for you. Good for you. It sounds like you really earned that award. 350 victims. That's phenomenal.
Yes.
Yes, very good. So what suggestions would you give people regarding how to relate to survivors and victims of human trafficking?
First of all, I would say that we don't need to judge, you know, because we don't know the full story, and we can't just say that people are doing things because of this or because of that. We need to just meet them where they are. Of course, you know, they're not always that confident in talking to you, so you have to get their confidence, their trust, and they understand very greatly if you're really sincere or are you just trying to get information. So you just meet them where they are, and most of the time they want somebody that kind of mothers them, and they can feel genuine love. So you just kind of follow their lead, and you deal with them how they allow you to deal with them. You're not pushy or judgmental, or, you know, just saying things to them that you don't need to know details of their life or what they've done or who they've done it with. That's not important. The important thing is to be able to help them to see that there is better way, and that there's a brighter future for them.
Very good. And I love your analogy of the unconditional love of a mother. That's what these women see, because they've been judged so much, right?
Right.
By everyone. And they've been, told by their pimp or human trafficker that they're not worth anything. So just, like that. So, and I know when you and I talked before this interview, we had talked about how people are curious and they want to know all the details, but they don't understand how painful that is for someone who's been a victim of human trafficking. Do you want to say a little bit more about that?
Well, first of all, the general things that we think of is like, we'll say to you, I want to speak to you, or what are you doing? Well, with them, that's just a general question that we would ask ourselves, and it wouldn't have any effect on us at all. But with them, when we say things like that, the first thing they think of is that I've done something wrong and there's consequences from it. And that's because when they were out there in the street, everything they did was a consequence. So it's very important to know how to speak to them in a manner that it won't trigger the trauma that they've already come out of, that they're already working on, because it doesn't go anywhere. They just constantly every day have to work on that, and certain things trigger them and certain things don't.
Yes. So saying I want to talk to you about something, they're imagining the worst.
Right.
So how do you approach them when you need to talk to them about something? What's your approach?
Well, my approach is after I might get the response that, did I do something wrong? I just start laughing with them and saying, well, why do you think you did something wrong? I'm just asking a question. There's no problem. And then that constantly will calm them down and say, oh, okay. Then they're able to deal with it. But that first impression is that I must have done something I wasn't supposed to.
Very good. Very good. And what impact does it have on a survivor of human trafficking or victim, if they're still a victim, to ask them what it's like to be, a prostitute person, because we want to know all those details. So what impact does it have on them when people do that?
It causes them to withdraw. If they want to give you details, then that's their right. But one of my survivors, what I tell her is, when you do a Zoom about human trafficking in your life, when people start pushing you for details, you stop them. You only tell them what you feel comfortable about, and that's it. And at that point, you just leave it alone. So and I'm trying to teach you how to set boundaries, not to let people go past her boundaries.
Yes, and that's so important, because the pimp did not honor their boundaries at all. And neither did the buyers, neither did the sex buyers.
Right.
Right. So learning good, healthy boundaries is so important. That's great. And you sound like you're the perfect, the way you come across, Pamela, you're just loving, but at the same time, very crystal clear about what works and what doesn't work. And I find that a lot with people who are helping survivors, and you really need that quality.
Yes.
Both like that. So what's your vision for the center?
Okay. Our actual vision is to have our center be a survivor-run center. What we do now is we start off with actually, I have three survivors working for me, one full-time and two part-time. One of them is a client, so she is working part-time, and we are assisting her also. So we pretty much start at going out now to large trafficking areas and passing out packages with sanitizing things and masks and stuff like that. And then as we do that, if the girls will allow us to get their names and phone numbers, when we go back to the office, we follow up with them and to see if we can have, help them in any kind of way and give them services. Basically, we want to be able to talk to them, help them, not just refer them out, but to follow them all the way to the end to their success. So then if we can give them a job, or if we can get them a better job, we will, but we don't want to just drop them off and just forget about it. And we constantly have someone calling the girls to see, are you okay? Is there anything you need? So it's going to be like a continuous thing, not just something that you just stop. You help them once and you just stop, because they're going to fall. They're going to, even when you get them and they're doing well, they may fall 1 or 2 or 3 times, but you don't give up on them just because they fall. You just wait until they get it together. And if they want more help, then they'll usually come to you and allow you to help them again. So yeah, that's what our vision is, to see a drop-in center with a lot of programs, counseling. We will be starting an acting classes in May and June. We have an actor as a volunteer, and she's getting ready to give them classes so they'll be able to express themselves and get some of the frustration out. So that's what we're doing right now, is just trying to help them be successful from a survivor to a success.
I love that idea. Acting classes. That's fabulous.
Yes.
Good for you. Now, so is there anything else you want to add today that you feel our audience needs to know about working with survivors of human trafficking and victims?
I would just say that that don't be judgmental. We don't know how people got out there, or what happened in their lives to cause them to be in this position. So if you don't have a heart to help people in general, even if it's not human trafficking people, I would say don't do it. It takes a lot of patience, and you'll be disappointed sometimes, you'll be hurt, but you have to know that what you're doing it for, not for man, but that you're doing it that you will see a reward at the end. And that's my thing. It's not for publicity. It's not to build me up, but I really want to see lives changed.
Yes, absolutely. So thank you so much for being with us today. I mean, you're just a huge contribution. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.